What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Appleboys Podcast. I'm Josh. I'm here with Corey.
Hello, I'm Corey.
Rob.
Hey, it's Rob.
And Jimmy.
It's Jimmy.
So watching football over the weekend just brought back a memory, something that I think I can share with the world. Did I ever tell you guys about the time that I got the cease and desist letter from the NCAA?
It's one of my faves.
Yes. This is the best Applebee's story I've ever heard.
It's the Appalachian Sweatshop.
That is what we called it the first night that I told you guys this story. It was pretty funny. So we called it the Appalachian Sweatshop because I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and me and my younger brother were working basically for free in our home to I guess what I've come to learn later is work this illegal soup distribution gig that we were doing. So
it sounds so silly when you say an illegal soup distribution ring.
But really, that's what it was, though.
I mean, it more or less was.
No soup was made.
It was actually copyright infringement, is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. My grandfather played football at Clemson in the late 50s, and me and my family are all big Clemson fans. And so from the time I have any memories, I've been going to Clemson games, and I can remember before they closed up the end zone, they used to have these grass hills where we'd have cardboard boxes and we'd slide down the hills during the game. And this was a different time. You know, you got your parents are in the stands just like watching the game. Meanwhile, all the children in the stadium are congregated in this little area on the side of the stadium, sliding down the hill on cardboard boxes with literally no parental supervision. So
no phones, just in the moment, right?
Yep.
You could smoke in the stands.
Those were the days.
I don't remember any smoking in the stands, but that's possible.
Can you not smoke in the stands? Is that not a thing?
No, I don't think you can.
No, that's certainly not allowed anymore.
I remember going to a NASCAR event, and it was just all Marlboro Reds, buddy.
That's still allowed, yeah.
NASCAR is a whole different
That is
ball
a different
game.
breed, bud.
Okay.
So like I said, we're at Clemson games, and we go tailgating before the games pretty frequently. And my mom at the time was working in a print shop. And so I guess it was technically my dad's idea, but I helped out with it. And so I like to take credit for it in my mind. But we came up with this idea for a can of soup, right? So Clemson's arch nemesis is the South Carolina Gamecocks. And we created this fake Campbell's soup-looking logo label in orange and white, and it was, instead of Campbell's, but in the same text, it was Clemson's Gamecock noodle soup. And in the little circle where the Campbell's logo normally would be, there was a gamecock with a noose around its neck. And all the nutrition facts and all the places where you would normally have all that information was fun facts about the Clemson-South Carolina rivalry. And it was just a really cool looking label. And so what we did is we went to our local discount grocery store in the place we lived. It was called the Bargain Barn. And we would buy whatever the cheapest can of soup was at the time. And me and my brother would sit at the kitchen table and peel the labels off of this soup. And then we would take the labels that my mom got printed at the print shop and replace the labels that we had just peeled off. And so sometimes it was tomato soup, sometimes it was chicken noodle soup, sometimes it was cream of mushroom. It didn't really matter what kind of soup it was. We were peeling the labels off and putting these new labels on. And we would take them to the games during the tailgate and sell these soup cans. So we got the labels printed in bulk. I have no idea what the cost on those was, but it was pretty low. And we would pay probably an average of, like, I'd say 20 cents to about 40 cents per can on the soup. And then we would sell these cans of soup for $3 to $4 to $5 a piece, depending on the time that we were at. And we would take, at first, 2, 3, 4 cases of soup and sell out. And, we consider that a success. And pretty soon, word started spreading about our Gamecock noodle soup. And so people were seeking out our tailgate, trying to find us so that they could buy this soup. And so we started bringing a lot more of the soup with us to the games. And we went from selling 2 to 4 cases of soup per game to dozens of cases of soup. Like we basically filled up the back of the van that we were in with soup, and we would sell out of everything every single game.
Did you guys live in that van too?
We did not. We actually didn't even live in the state.
Oh.
We were living in Tennessee, and we would drive to South Carolina for the games.
I could just imagine that. Driving across the state lines, back bumpers scraping against the highway full of soup. Just get pulled over like, what's in the back?
It's just soup, officer, I swear.
I don't believe you. Open up the trunk.
And it's just soup.
It's just soup.
It's just soup. And then he goes, damn, that's clever. Continue on.
Yeah. So in my dad's job, he was an early adopter for technology in general. He had to test stuff for work. And so we had the internet in probably 1996, 97. Not many people in our area or in our neighborhood had the internet at that time. And we were early into eBay. So this was, eBay was one of the very first like big websites that everybody knew the URL for and everybody went to. And we started selling this Gamecock noodle soup on eBay. And living in Tennessee, we thought, the Gamecock noodle soup was such a big hit. We also made Tennessee Volunteer Pride soup that had the Davy Crockett kind of logo and fun facts about Tennessee's history and things like that. And this was right after they won the national championship. When we got on eBay is when the operation really started to take off, because up until that point, we were only really working for 5 or 6 weekends a year because it was only for home games. And so it was a big deal when we were making like dozens of cases of soup labels, but it was in short spurts. But once we got on eBay, we were selling this shit all the time.
It was a full-time job.
It really was a full-time job. I can remember coming home from school and wanting to go like ride bikes or play basketball in the backyard or play with friends. And it's like, nope, we got orders on eBay we got to fill. Need you boys at the kitchen table pulling labels off the soup and getting this stuff done.
Your mom's a soup Nazi. Like, no, only soup for you.
That's true. It was mostly my dad, though.
Okay, fair enough. I could see that.
But we started selling a lot of this soup, and to a point where we increased our margins. So the cost of the soup wasn't really going up, but we were now up to selling it for $6 or $7 a can, plus outrageous shipping and handling fees, because it's very expensive to ship soup. It's heavy
stuff.
You also have to make sure it doesn't dent in transit or anything.
Yeah, we packaged it very well. We were very proud of.
And this was before if it fits, it ships. So
Yeah, the late 90s, I'm sure, are very different with that.
yeah,
surprisingly though, we did print postage online. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That's wild.
That is
Pre-2000.
For like UPS or
Yeah.
for USPS?
For USPS.
Stamps?
Wow.
The United States Postal Service.
Wow. Are we talking stamps?
Well, not exactly like 32-cent stamps, but like shipping labels.
Yeah, like priority mail, things of that nature.
If you have counterfeit stamps, is that like a federal crime?
I would think so.
Probably.
It's probably far less punishable now than it was in the 1800s.
It's like the same as printing money, I'm pretty sure, because you like are literally printing money that's being used to like ruse the government.
Yeah, and you absolutely can make money off that. I mean, if you sell the stamps, can you imagine the profit?
I can't.
Bro,
The forever stamps.
what? Why is that a thought that like came to your head?
Who knows?
Just trying to make some money, man.
All right, anyway. Continue.
So we've started selling a large volume of soup, and the Tennessee Volunteer Pride soup was popular locally, but it was more like the Tennessee was more a celebration of Tennessee's history, where the Clemson Gamecock noodle soup was more Clemson shitting on South Carolina. So it was more funny, and far and away the Clemson soup was always much more popular than the Tennessee soup, but we started selling a whole lot of the soup, and one day, and I'll admit at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on, but we got a letter, and I remember distinctly my dad, I overheard my dad talking to my mom about hiring a lawyer, and he never did. It turns out the letter was a cease and desist letter from the NCAA because we weren't licensed to use the names and likenesses of either of the universities that we were making soups for. But I think we may have had sort of a leg to stand on because, yes, we used the names of the universities and facts and information and things like that, but we didn't use any of the actual logos or trademarks or anything like that. And all of the facts and the fun facts and things like that were just, just publicly available information. So I think that we probably could have kept going if we had fought it, but we certainly did not. So that was where that stopped. But
so hold on. So this soup business was so big that you were getting a cease and desist letter from the NCAA?
That's correct.
NCAA is all about the dollar bills, y'all.
That's incredible.
It's crazy that in like the late 90s, they discovered you and would send like a small business this kind of letter.
What else do these people have to do with their time?
They could have like brought you guys in on their business or something.
What else does the NCAA have to do? Apparently nothing.
The internet's in its infancy at this point, so there's not a whole lot of these sites to kind of pay attention to.
That's
so
true.
I can see it, how they're just like, hey, wait a minute. That should be our money.
Right.
Because that's what the NCAA is all about.
I'm sure some like rep for them was just at one of these games and saw everyone at these fucking soup cans and was like, we need it.
Wait a minute.
We need the money.
Did they ever make officially licensed soup cans?
They did not. And I really wish that we had stuck with it. I don't know that we would have ever like retired off of it or anything, but it was really fun to do. Like, even though we were kind of child labor, especially my younger brother, he was like 6 years old, just peeling labels off of soup cans.
I was going to say he could not have been. He's barely able to stand up, just peeling labels off soup cans over there.
Yep, he was learning to use the potty while peeling off soup cans. But we stopped cold turkey. So we stopped making these soup cans, and we had thousands and thousands of these labels left over, right? And years and years and years later, this was actually after I met my wife. So this was within the last 7 years. So I'd say this was probably around 2014, 2015. I'm at Clemson at a football game. We're walking through downtown Clemson, and we go into one of the shops in downtown Clemson. It was, I don't remember which shop it was, but we go into a shop, and I'm looking at a shelf, and I see a shelf full of probably 40 cans of Clemson Gamecock noodle soup.
Oh my God.
No.
It's our exact label, just completely ripped off. And they're selling these cans for $15 a piece.
My God.
So were these original family production soup cans, or were these reproductions?
It was very hard to tell. So if they were reproductions, they were very faithful to the original. I think they could have been original. I don't know. We never sold the labels in bulk. So they would have either had to have collected a lot of cans from us from tailgates and held on to them and sold them later, or they had one, they took the label off, and they had it recreated.
Huh.
So I see these soup cans, and I'm telling my wife, like, my dad and I made these cans. Like, when I was a young boy, we took labels off of cans on our kitchen table, and we reapplied these new labels, and we sold these. This is our idea. This is an outrage that these things are here.
We were threatened by the NCAA with legal action.
So she had never heard this story before?
She had never heard this story,
God.
and this is also...
I would not believe you.
We're pretty young into our relationship, and I can tell that she definitely does not believe
Oh,
me.
yeah.
No, I don't think any person in their right mind would believe you.
Right, so she thinks I'm, like, flexing or something, trying to be, like, to impress her. I don't know, but...
That's a weird flex, but okay, like, I made soup cans when I was a boy.
It's something that I'm very proud of. I see the soup cans. I call my dad. I say, Dad, you're never going to believe what I'm looking at downtown Clemson. And I tell him about it, and he asks me to send him a picture and the name of the store. And so I send the picture, and I send the name of the store. And then my wife and I are walking around the store still, just looking at shirts and things like that. And all of a sudden I see this lady like frantically come out of the back room and this is a lady that I hadn't seen all day. She looked very managerial, and she's instructing one of the college-age sales associates to pull all of the soup off the shelf immediately.
How long were you at this shop?
I sent my dad the pictures and the name of the shop, and this was within 10 minutes.
Oh my God. What did he say?
A rapid fire response.
Well,
yeah.
Whenever I called him, he was livid.
Was he like cease and desist?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he sent a very strongly worded phone call cease and desist letter to the manager of that shop.
Listen here, those are my soup cans.
My goodness. Josh's dad just became Foghorn Leghorn there for a second.
Now you see.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming what your dad sounds like. I'm sorry.
No, that's a very accurate reproduction. I thought he was on the show for a second. As I'm watching these kids frantically pull the soup cans off the shelf, it's now clear to me that my wife believes me, and her face is beet red. She's so embarrassed because this is clearly something that I caused by calling my father and having him like lay the law down on these people.
Oh no.
So she wants to get out of the shop as soon as possible, and she's clearly humiliated. And so we leave, and I call Dad back when we get back out on the street, and I'm like, what did you say to those people? And he told me that he informed them that that was his soup and that he owned the copyright to it and they didn't have any right to sell it and that he would be suing them. And so they apparently pulled it off the shelf immediately. And the manager who he talked to is not the owner of the shop, but about 24 hours later, he got a phone call from the owner of the shop, and the owner of the shop apologized, said that he didn't know that it was someone else's copyright, and offered to pay him a royalty on every can of soup that they had ever sold. So
that's just unbelievable. Like, that part I can't get over. Because, like, could your dad actually have, like, done anything legally because he was sent a cease and desist, so he couldn't even sell them?
I don't know. I assume he left that part out whenever he was telling them that they needed. That's
awesome that he just got paid for basically no reason.
Yeah, so he basically got like a $12,000 check because apparently they've been selling this soup for a really long time. And
so good.
They pulled it off the shelf, and that shop never sold it again. And so that was sort of what I thought was the end of the Gamecock noodle soup story. But then just this last year, we were at Clemson for a football game, and we went to a new Clemson shop that wasn't there, you know, any of the previous times that we had been there. And they have this display case inside the shop that has like old school Clemson memorabilia. And there's one can of our soup inside that case. So
that's kind of awesome.
They're not selling it, but like I feel very, very involved in the history of like Clemson athletics and the town and everything as a result of our Appalachian Sweatshop soup adventures. But
I feel like that makes it worth it.
Yeah, I really, it was at the time, you know, I wasn't having a ton of fun with it all the time, but it was fun when we got to the tailgates and to see the feedback go up on eBay and things like that. But so earlier before the show, we were talking about sort of the topics for the show, and you know, this story came up and we were talking about tailgating. And Corey, I think that reminded you of a tailgating story that you had, right?
Oh yeah. So as I think we covered previously, I hail from Florida, and as a Florida resident, I was a big Tampa Bay Rays fan. Which I picked them in 2006, 2 years before they became the Rays. They were the Devil Rays, and they are a historically bad baseball team. So one of the perks of being a fan of a historically bad baseball team is when you take a group of friends, you get to park for free. So if you bring 4 people to the stadium, they're so thankful that people are going to the games. They're just like, come on in, buddy.
Oh my God.
You can drink in the parking lot for 4 hours before the game, and we're just happy you're here. So we would frequently go down to Tampa, and we would get just real hammered in the parking lot before we go into the stadium. So that way the stadium beers, which are like $9 a piece, you're just kind of cruising on at that point. You're not really you're not drinking those to get drunk because that's way too expensive. I worked at a place that I didn't make anywhere near enough money to really afford that many stadium beers. But so we're in the parking lot. We're cooking our hot dogs on our little tailgate grill. We're pounding beers in the parking lot. And then it's finally time to go into the game. And I'm probably, I don't know, somewhere between 14 and 16 beers deep at this point.
Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah, it's...
Miller Lite, of course, right?
That's a lot.
at the time, I think it was a different light beer. I'm unfortunate to say.
Okay.
But
we've changed. It's all right.
It's my palate has evolved over the years, thankfully.
Sure.
But we go into the stadium. We're very clearly inebriated. We are sitting in the right field corner. So we're underneath the Jumbotron. We're enjoying the game. We're sitting there just... I used to drink Bud Heavies at the baseball games because it makes it to where I don't drink too fast. So I can really enjoy my $9 beer.
Right.
So funny thing about baseball games is they stop serving beer around the 7th inning mark to make sure that people have time to sober up and they can drive home. So no crimes are committed
Makes
and
sense.
things of that nature. I look up at the scoreboard. It's the 7th inning. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Because I am probably at the last sip of my Bud Heavy. And I frantically look around the stadium. I look at my friends, and then I just look down the first baseline, and there he is, our beer man. I look at my friends, and I just say, guys, I'll be right back. And I take off running.
Oh, no.
I'm a heavy dude, and I am not built for running.
You're also
with that
like
kind of
obliterated
speed.
at this point, right?
Yeah, very much so. But the more important factor of this is that I am well over 300 pounds even at this time in my life. And I am hauling ass around the walkway of this stadium.
Literally
I'm like,
and figuratively.
yeah, I am juking people and just trying to get to this dude before he puts up his little beer cart, whatever, hip thing. And then I'm hollering at him as I'm running. I'm like, beer man! Beer man! And he turns. I get his attention. And I finally get up to him. I got like a pain in my side. And I'm like heaving. I'm just like, beer man. I need a beer. And he goes, all I have left is one Heineken. And I go, oh, that sucks. Because maybe my least favorite beer in the world is a Heineken.
It's awful. Why does anyone drink it?
I don't know, man. It's like super popular amongst a lot of my friends in Florida anyway.
It's Florida. Okay.
And I'm also a big metalhead, and like bands like Slayer and that kind of stuff, they like love Heineken.
That's true. Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because like art is pain and they want to enjoy that pain.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
It must be a generational thing or
Right.
something.
It's something.
Anyway.
Boomers love Heineken.
Anyway, he's looking at me and I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'll take it. And so I pay it's basically $11 after tip and everything for this beer that I don't want. I trudge back out of breath, taking a sip of this horrible beer.
Was it like cold at least?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's ice cold.
It was the
beer
last
here.
one, so I
Ice
just wanted to make
cold.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been sitting in the ice bath the longest. If anything, it's the coldest beer.
That's true.
But I get back to my friends, and they go, so did you get one? I said, kinda. And throughout the rest of the game, I take a sip, and I'd like grimace in pain every time. And then we used to go to this place across the street called Ferg's in Tampa. It is a late night establishment. And
Ooh.
yeah, that's funny story about that too, actually. First time I went to a game with a bunch of my friends, we were talking to a parking attendant because we were there well before. Like we were there like 7 hours before the game, I think. And they don't open the parking lots until you get to 4 hours before the game.
Right.
And we're talking to the guy. We're like, hey, is there anywhere we can maybe get a couple of beers till the parking lot opens, that sort of thing? And the guy's like, yeah, man, Fudge's is right around the corner. We're like, Fudge's? Okay, cool.
Fudge
Like,
sounds
man,
like a
it's-
fun time.
I know, doesn't it? It sounds
does.
like it could be like an adult establishment
Right.
even, maybe.
That's sort of what I was picking up when you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Ferg's. Is it not?
No, it's like a sports bar nightclub hybrid.
Oh, I definitely thought you were saying it was a strip club.
No, in Tampa, Mons Venus is the place for an adult establishment.
Okay.
That's another story. The important part is that the guy said Fudges initially. And we were looking all over for this Fudges place. We were like, well, there's a Ferg's. Where's Fudges? Fudges is the place to be. Ferg's can't be it. That's not even close.
They just fudged the name.
Like, badly.
Ayo.
Yeah, that's very different.
Timely rim shots.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so Ferg's, we used to go there after games to drink, dance, and sometimes eat. And there was one time specifically that we went there to eat, and I wanted wings. And she was like, okay, well, we have, mild, hot, really hot, super hot, and suicide. I'm like, well, you can't have a sauce called suicide, and I have to get the suicide wings. She was like, are you sure they're really hot? I was like, yeah, no, I'm well experienced. I like very spicy food.
You and Rob share this passion.
We do. We like...
I do not.
We
Yeah,
like
same
food.
here. Fuck
we
that.
like food to hurt a little bit when it goes down. It's like 9 Inch Nails, to see if I still feel.
That's pretty much what it is. And actually, if
It's like the Heineken of... No, it's... Okay, that's not a good pain.
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
Heineken
It's
is
not a
a
good
very
comparison.
unpleasurable pain.
Right.
The spice is a good kind of pain. It's like a tingle that just it makes you feel like you're alive. That's the
Okay.
only way I know how to describe it.
if I don't regret my decision when I order a meal, I've done it wrong.
Yeah, I need that endorphin rush. Like it's good stuff. So anyway, these suicide wings come out. I order 6 of them because I am not super hungry. It's like 2 a.m. at this point. They get to the table and they brought me 12.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, oh no, I only ordered 6. And they were like, oh, they made it double. Don't worry about it. And I'm one of those people that if you put food in front of me, I'm gonna eat all of it. Like it's unavoidable. I'm going to eat the whole portion. I hate
seen it
having
happen.
leftovers, especially when I'm like 7 hours away from home and there's a 0% chance that the leftovers are still going to be good the next day.
Right.
So I get about 4 wings in and I am pouring sweat. Like it is profuse. It is clear that I am having a bad time. And my friends are like, you don't have to finish those. And I go, yeah, I do.
Good friends.
Yeah.
So this was like spiciest thing you've ever ate level?
I mean, it's up there for
Okay.
sure. Certainly at the time it was.
Gotcha.
I think certain things have surpassed it since then. But in this moment, I am really regretting this decision. And
And how long of a drive do you have like after this?
So we were staying at a hotel. We
Okay.
were in Tampa. Like we don't go.
So
to
making
a
sure you
baseball
didn't have to
game
drive
until-
7 hours
Oh, no.
after this. Okay.
Driving 7 hours after how inebriated we get in the parking lot is a bad choice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That is asking for trouble. But our waitress comes by and she goes, "So, dead man, how you doing?" And I say, "Do you have milk?" And she kind of laughs and I say, "Ha, no, seriously. Do you have any milk? This hurts a lot." And she goes, "I think maybe we have like half and half or something at the bar. We make White Russians and stuff." I was like, "Could you give me a cup of that? That'd be great." So she brings me back like this like Dixie cup of half and half. And I'm like, "Number 1, thank you. Number 2, I'm going to need more."
That is on another level for sure.
And so I doused the flame that was inside of me with this half and half. And then she brings me back a proper cup. And then I'm able to finish the plate of wings, of course.
Nice.
Because I ain't no puss.
All right, so I have an accompanying story to that.
Go on.
I'm really, really excited to tell this story. So, one night, me and Rob had consumed some edibles that you can actually, for some reason, legally buy in Tennessee.
Everywhere for that.
You can
matter
really
now,
buy
I
it
think.
everywhere
Yeah.
now. It's like this crazy loophole that allows you to consume like legal THC. So me and Rob were down. We were in it. So probably about 2 or 3 hours in, it's probably like 11 or 12 at night at this point, and I really wanted some cereal. Like I needed it.
Oh no.
And Rob was on the couch, like, gone. Like, his favorite thing, we can talk about this later, but his favorite thing is to watch car crash videos.
What?
His
This
favorite
is something that apparently Corey and I do not know about you, Rob.
Now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Rob just
you guys
loves
don't know this?
getting completely, like, shit-faced, obliterated from this Delta 8 and just watching car crash videos.
Why?
Have you guys ever watched car crash
Are you
videos?
watching like the Russian dash cam videos?
yes.
What is wrong with
Yeah.
you?
Yes, absolutely.
But anyway, he is into these car crash videos and totally zoned out. And I'm making this cereal. I open up the fridge, and I'm like, "What the fuck? There's no milk." But I see like this. There's this just little like dot of milk in the bottom of this carton, and I also see some half and half in the door, and also like there's a splash of oat milk because I like to put oat milk in coffee in the morning.
Sure.
So I'm debating here, and I tell Rob about it, and he's like, "Bro, combine the milks, bro." And I'm like, combine the milks? This is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard at the time. You had to think the mental state I was in. So I combined the milks with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was like this half and half oat milk, fucking like 2% concoction. It was pretty great.
That actually sounds not so bad.
Yeah,
It was good.
I recommend it.
It sounds like you had some wild consistency issues, like some texture
Yeah.
issues throughout the bowl.
But now if we just have like a little bit of something, like just a little bit of whiskey and like a little bit of like cognac, I'm like, combine the whiskey.
You got to combine the milks.
Gotta
man.
combine the milks.
This is a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
So if moral of the story, if any of you try out the Delta 8, try to watch some car crash videos. It's very soothing.
Absolutely. Russian dash cam videos.
Let's get more into that.
Do you
Why?
have a number one? So for me, if I end up going down the YouTube rabbit hole, no matter where it starts, it always
Hold on,
100% of the
guess?
time
Can I guess?
ends with
8 Mile rap battles?
the 8 Mile final rap battle. Every single time. It doesn't matter. I can start out watching literally anything, and through YouTube's magical algorithms, I end up watching B Rabbit rap against Clarence, whose parents have a real good marriage, every time. Like, he went to Cranbrook. Everybody knows it.
That's a private school.
That's a private school. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Every single time. So what I'm asking is, when you go through this car crash watching thing that you do, like, is there a climactic video that you always build up to and end up at?
There's not, but it's really funny because there's always a limit to how into a car crash video that you can be. And, you've got your normal car crash videos that are like, oh, okay, yeah, someone like turned when they shouldn't have.
normal car crash
See,
video?
you're so into
Listen.
them that you have no context for people that don't
Oh,
understand
no.
them.
Buddy, it's not
Is this about to
normal.
turn into Faces of Death?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have normal car crash videos that are like, oh no, you cut me off and I hit you because of it, or you brake checked me, and oh no. And then you have people like blowing a flat on a freeway and coming across the traffic, and you see people flipping through the air.
Yeah,
that's
they're
when
like,
you know
oh,
you've
they're
gone
dead.
too far.
Yeah,
That's-
we got to stop.
we go away from that.
Yeah.
Is this a Schadenfreude situation where you're like taking pleasure in other people's pain?
Pretty
I think
much.
it's a part of it for
So
sure.
it's gotten so bad that the other night we were on another YouTube account, like just a random, like not even signed in, and we looked up car crash videos because it was that time of night, and we couldn't find a car crash video that we hadn't seen already.
Oh no.
No, that's
a real story.
100% real.
So I've noticed as we've been telling this that this started out with Jimmy talking about how Rob likes to watch these car crash videos. There's a whole lot of we going
Yeah,
on
there
here.
is a
Oh, no,
tremendous
it's a
amount
we.
of weed.
It's a we.
It's a
I'm not
we.
gonna. I tried to throw Rob under the car crash, but
No, Jimmy and I live together. I mean, the car crash is infectious.
it is.
I got to tell you, like, I have an open mind. I don't think that's a thing that I'm going to get into.
Just try it.
We'll see. If you guys are listening out there, we'd love to hear from you in Discord about what you think about car crash videos. So, like, hit us up in Discord and tell
If you
us what
try
think.
enough of the special medicine, you'll understand the car crash videos.
I don't know, man. In my younger days, I dabbled.
Yeah.
Never had an inkling to be like, you know what I want to watch right now?
You need to
but
try it. You can't knock it till you try it.
You used to get high before YouTube was a thing.
I mean,
That's fair.
That is
Corey and I are ancient, but I've never been a magical medicine kind of guy, and you guys trying to sell me on it by saying just try it and then watch some car crash videos, guys. You'll totally get what we're saying. Like that's not a good selling point for me.
Hey, I don't mind.
It's like the millennial version of The Wizard of Oz with the dark side of the moon.
I don't think it is.
It absolutely is the same thing.
Do you sync up
don't
car crashes to music?
We actually do.
Oh no!
We listen to Death Grips.
So hold on. This started with us watching Planet Earth with music instead of Planet Earth. We just watched the show and then play music over it. So like sometimes it synced up really, really well. So we'd watch like really aggressive music. So whenever these fucking wildebeests were just going at it, it would just be like this fucking death metal playing to these wildebeests. It was fucking great.
It really was. And it went from like death metal to like gangster rap. And we finally settled on the best music they can possibly go.
Oh yeah.
With Planet Earth. And that is Death Grips.
Yeah, Death Grips, absolutely. Have you guys heard of Death Grips? Like, if you haven't heard of Death Grips, you need to go on whatever streaming service you use and look up Death Grips. It's a great time.
Yeah.
That is one of the things they say. So it went from watching Planet Earth with Death Grips, car crash videos. Like, I don't know what the next step beyond car crash videos is going to be. What do you think it's going to be?
We're going to find it, and I don't know what it is yet. I think maybe like active robberies gone wrong, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone posted. We might even do like a watch along with these car crash videos on the Patreon. Stay posted for that.
That is, I just don't know how that's.
I don't think that's going to work at all.
You just got to try it, man.
Oh man. So speaking of doing the special medicine, me and Rob are actually taking a trip to San Francisco, where all of this is freely legal. I love Josh just opening a beer in the background. All of this is freely legal in California. So he opened 2 in a row. Sorry, very distracted by that. Anyway, me and Rob are going to San Francisco we're flying out on Friday. And me and my girlfriend were trying to find like things to do, places to go, because no one's been to San Francisco except for me. So I kind of like knew the touristy spots, all the places I wanted to go. But for some reason, which I'm not complaining about, everyone really wants to go to a strip club. So
Is there something special about a San Francisco strip club, or
I don't think so. It's just a big city that's not the small town we live in the South. So it has to be better than here. And I've been to very, very few good strip clubs. So I'm honestly interested.
fair enough? To each their own, I suppose.
Are you going to take your girlfriend to the strip club, or is it going to be like a guys' night, girls' night?
She's
type thing?
taking me to the strip club.
Okay.
Yeah, she's taking me. Last time we went, everyone is very interested in her. And I was next to her, so it worked out really, really well. It did work out really, really well.
Did you wear sweatpants?
I didn't wear sweatpants.
That's a strip club pro move.
See, if you wear sweatpants, the technique is you have to get duct tape and just tape that shit to your leg.
Hold on. What? What the fuck are you talking about?
So no one knows, you know?
So no one
the
knows.
point of wearing sweatpants is so everyone knows.
I don't want people to know that. Hold on, can you guys explain this phenomenon to me? I don't want anyone to know.
If a girl is dancing on your wiener, you want to feel it.
Yeah, and
we cannot include.
and hang on for a second.
This is great.
It's not actually a secret
It's not?
that if you are in an establishment and there are people dancing naked on you, that you may become aroused. So like nobody's going to be surprised that, hey, you got a boner.
I've been to a strip club exactly one time, so I'm learning, okay?
Okay.
I'm like 23.
Well, the duct tape thing is not a good idea.
You should
Not a good idea.
Do not duct tape your shit
All right,
down.
let me write that down. Hold on. So there's this musician named Thundercat. I think I showed you this.
Yeah, you sure did.
But he posted this photo of this man doing a push-up with his boner.
That's
think
called
I-
a cock push-up.
You only need to do one.
You think you guys
only
could do
gotta
that?
one.
You can only do one.
I
I mean,
certainly.
I guess that's all you need.
If anyone can actually do a legitimate cock push-up, like that would be incredibly impressive.
If anyone can do more than one, that's even more impressive.
yeah. Well,
Well, it depends on the
report-
time constraints, right?
I mean, yeah. Is there a warm-up period?
Oh, I shouldn't search.
We
that
can
on
put
me.
our attempts on the Appleboys OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Google cock push-up.
I didn't Google it. I was going to YouTube it because I was going to play the Tenacious D song,
Oh yeah.
but I decided not to put that on there. So your girlfriend's going to be taking you to a strip club while you're in San Francisco. Have you guys narrowed down to which strip club you're going to go to?
We have. There's this place called New Century Theater that looks pretty classy. I only found 2 places that didn't look like a hole in the wall where there might be weird diseases.
Just get a penicillin shot the day after, and you're good to go.
I've already like started
Right
my
to the dick.
ivermectin.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
I already started the ivermectin.
All right. So I guess at this point,
Ivermectin.
we've already talked about ivermectin, so I guess like let's just roll with it. What do you guys think about? So I've thought about this a lot. I think that society completely collapses once Taco Bell shuts down because none of the horses can get their horse dewormer anymore because everybody's taking ivermectin. So all the horses die, and Taco Bell can't get horse meat for their tacos.
No more ground meat for Taco Bell.
Goodness.
I did forget that Taco Bell uses horse meat.
Where is that?
That's not. That's Taco Bell. Please don't sue us.
So San Francisco sounds like it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast. I'm very excited to report back with any interesting stories.
Rob, you used to live in Las Vegas, right?
That's where I grew up.
What did you do like before you moved out here? How did your career start?
So I started in retail and I worked a discount clothing store in my early job days.
Like discount clothing store like Goodwill or
Not
like
quite.
JC Penney?
Somewhere in between.
Okay.
It was TJ Maxx adjacent.
Yep.
Okay. So like not Nordstrom but Nordstrom Brack.
Certainly more on the Nordstrom rack.
Why can't you just tell people you worked at Ross, bro?
I work at Ross, and that's very different. I hate you.
Oh, it's the other one.
Yeah, it's the other one. So I worked at the other one.
There's no shame in working at Ross.
There is. There absolutely is.
Why?
It's like a territorial thing at this point, because if you used to work at the other one and you saw Ross, which pops up anytime there is the other one, there's always a Ross accompanying it. Like they always come.
It's like
in
there's a
pairs.
CVS, there's a Walgreens across from it.
Yeah,
Burger
and Ross
King,
is always the
McDonald's.
shitty one. So, anyways, I was working at the other one, and I was not gruntled about my job. I was disgruntled. And
I like that.
and one day, this guy came in, and I was helping him, and I helped him for a while, and he was an older guy that's short. He was about 5'2", and nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm just observing. He was constantly referencing my height because he thought it was really funny. But anyways, he said, "Hey, if you ever want to get out of this, let me know. I'll get you taken care of." And I absolutely followed up immediately and said, "Let's go. I need to get out of here." So I start here. And it's a marble and granite shop in Las Vegas, and this is a pretty big deal. They're a heavy-duty custom shop, and they work on hotels, casinos, big custom homes in Vegas, and we have a variety of different clientele, anywhere from a $3,000 to $5,000 project up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for the bigger projects, and sometimes millions for casinos. So it was a big deal, and it was a lot of fun while I was there, but with that, there was definitely a share of interesting characters that I met along the way. And so one of the bigger projects that I'm more proud of is a project that at first I didn't even know who the client was. It was all very hush-hush and no one actually knew who this person was. They always talked through a proxy. They were very, very private people, and they didn't want to know who was living at this house. They did this to the point where they would even set up special, like, staged photos around the house of a different family that definitely was not them.
That is wild.
And they went by the Kleins. But they're a famous Hollywood couple whose names are Daniel and Rachel, and that's as far as we're going to go here. But at first, this was a multi-month project. We were probably out here for 4 or 5 months, and I didn't talk to or see the actual client a single time for the first 2 or 3 months. And when I finally did meet the client, I was incredibly surprised. I had heard rumors of who it actually was, but I didn't get confirmation until way, way late in the project, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So this started with me getting there one day after demolition, and we're beginning install. We're measuring for all the cuts that we need to make in order to make this work in the kitchen area. And I had heard the client was on site, and I wanted to meet them. I wanted to say hello and introduce myself so that they had someone to talk to whenever, if they had any problems or if they needed anything along the way. And I could not find her. I went around and around the house, couldn't find her. Finally go out to the backyard area, and there are 2 women in the pool. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to bother them. No problem. But as soon as I walk outside, one of the women stands up, walks to greet me, full bikini, very, very attractive. And it's Rachel. And I was shocked because I finally knew who the client was, and rumors were confirmed, and it was crazy, crazy who I was actually working with. So I go through this whole process. She introduces herself. I introduce myself. By the way, very, very nice person in real life. And I say, hey, if you ever need anything, absolutely call me. Here's my number.
What did you mean by that?
Nothing.
You know, hubby's out working, and you know.
So, speaking of hubby, Daniel was shooting a movie in Germany at the time. One day after demolition and after the house had moved along in the construction process, I had tried to go outside to measure an outside tabletop, and the door would not open. I tried and tried, could not open the door. I had tried the locking mechanism. I had tried just... I thought the door was broken, so I had to figure out a different way around. And right as I'm trying to open up this door, which took probably a minute and a half for me to go through and actually get this thing open, I get a text notification. And I, for whatever reason, decided it was in that moment that I needed to see this notification to see what was going on. So I opened the notification. It's from a number that I've never seen before, and it definitely was not a United States number. It was from out of area, and it said something along the lines of, hey, just as a heads up, don't pull on that door, you'll break it. To your right, there's a button. Push that button, and it'll automatically open the door. Thanks, Daniel. So Daniel is watching me on his indoor security cameras try to open this door and fail. And he says, just push the fucking button, idiot. And so... So very embarrassed. I push the button. Door just slides right open, no problem. And I walk outside and do my thing. But long story short, that's how I worked with my first real celebrity, and it was a lot of fun. The best part about it was the end of the project when I was doing the final walkthrough. Rachel happened to be in town. She walked through the project with me, and it was a big, nice kitchen countertop, and it was a beautiful kitchen. So we go through the whole thing. This is the final reveal. She's never seen this before. We walk through it together, and she sees it and says, "Oh my God, I hate this."
Oh no.
And I said, "What do you mean?" And she says, I hate this. This is ugly. And I said, "Well, it's beautiful. The stone is great, and you know, what's wrong with it? And she said, oh, no. The craftsmanship is great. I just hate the material. Can we replace this?
Second sale, baby.
And that's exactly what happened. I said, Rachel, we have to charge you. And she said, oh, yeah. No, we're good.
Oh.
And we immediately ripped it all out and replaced it with a much lighter material. And she said, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. She picked out the material to begin with, by the way. It's not like we sight unseen said, okay,
Just
here you go.
YOLO'd
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here you go. This
But
is the color
she decided.
I picked out.
Yeah, she just decided this was not the way. And we redid the entire project. Got paid twice for it.
So you got this marble and granite job by meeting a man that was a full 1.5 feet shorter than you in Ross or Ross equivalent while you were working there.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up, because anytime we were standing next to each other while we were on a job site, he would have me move at least 6 feet away so he didn't feel so short.
So
Yeah.
when you told me earlier that he was like 5'2", the first thing that came to mind was just yesterday they announced that they're finally making a sequel for Twins. So Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are making Twins 2. It's coming soon to a theater near you.
That is what I think of.
Oh my God.
Like, do you think you and your boss could have made like a... Did you ever see the Be Kind Rewind movie with Jack Black?
Yeah.
Do you think you and your boss could make a Be Kind Rewind style Twins movie?
I think we probably could have. It would be... Honestly, he's not too far from Danny DeVito,
he
except
just
for he
seems-
is jacked.
He just seems like angry jacked Danny DeVito.
That's exactly correct. He definitely compensated for height with muscle, and that dude was constantly just a walking sculpture.
What happens when he gets like super angry at you? Does he like flex at you and like try to fight you?
No, if he gets super angry, he starts whispering at me.
Oh,
Well,
no.
that's weird.
That's way worse.
So his default vocal tone was yelling. And he's this little Italian man from New York, and he just constantly, anything that you needed, anything you wanted, anything that was going on, joyous, sad, angry, it was all yelling. It was just, he was a loud guy, and he really projected with his voice. And, you know, he would get angrier and the yelling would increase. But one particular night, we usually close up shop at about 4:30. And this particular night, we had a job going out the next day. It was not finished yet. We were working till 6 already to get this done. And right as we're about to wrap up, the piece cracks. And we have to redo all the work. Can't fix it. It's fucked. So, of course, I'm the guy that's on the job. I'm here. I'm trying to help out. And my boss is already home with his kids, you know, doing his thing. I have to call him and tell him that this piece cracked and we are dead in the water for this install tomorrow. And I'm not excited about it. So I call him up and he says, hey, how's everything going? And I said, not good. Not good. The piece cracked. I don't know what to do. Just letting you know as soon as possible. What do you want us to do? And I hear dead silence for like 30 seconds.
Oh, no.
And I finally
Probably
asked,
felt like 30 minutes, didn't it?
oh, absolutely. It felt like the longest time in the world. And finally, I say, hey, are you still there? And I should not have said that.
Oh, no.
That was a mistake, because his immediate reaction was to whisper yell at me. And
Could you demonstrate
Yeah,
the
can you
whisper
demo
yell?
an example?
that for us?
I don't know if I really can do it. It
Can you
was
use that in a sentence?
the closest that I can come. Just think of, you know, if someone's really, really loud all the time and all of a sudden they get quiet, it's terrifying.
It's the calm before
But-
the storm.
It was just, what do you fucking mean it wasn't okay?
I'm Batman.
How the fuck did it crack? And he's like whisper yelling at me. It was aggressive whispering. And it went on for, the minutes felt like hours. And eventually I got to the end of it and I didn't know there was no resolution. He didn't tell me what to do. He didn't tell me the next steps. He just said, figure the shit out. And I went out to the shop and everyone looked at me and thought that I had seen a ghost, because I just had to talk to this man and he whisper yelled at me. And I just told them, pack it up, let's go home.
You were what, like 23, 22?
I think I might have been 21.
My God.
I was young.
I would have been terrified.
Yeah, I was the operations manager of this establishment. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I just said, pack it up, let's go home, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
All right, so Josh, you've been doing a lot of work on our website, our Patreon, and everything surrounding that. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, truth of the matter is episode 1 sort of hit the public eye well before, frankly, I was ready for it. We had initially talked about recording 5 or 6 episodes, and I was slowly working on the website, trying to pull it together. It definitely was not ready for anybody besides the Appleboys to see, because I wanted some feedback on what they thought it looked like, and I still had a bunch of like stock images on there, just filler stuff, just so they could get an idea of what the concept was, what it was going to look like. But I was absolutely not ready for anybody to see it, right? But I uploaded episode 1 of the podcast to the website, and you could listen to it on the website. And I wanted them to hear it so that they could see, like, what do you guys think? You know, is this something that we can share with other people or what? And we had talked before about, like, we're not going to share this with people outside of this group until we're ready to. But then everybody in the group shared it with like 3 people, and they shared it with another couple people. And before we knew it, the website had like 500 hits, and we had like 6 listens on Spotify and 30 views on YouTube. And like, that's not a lot.
Huge milestones.
Not a lot of people, but a lot more than we were ready for. And the website was absolutely not ready. But that put a lot of pressure on me, I felt like, because if people are going to be going to the website and listening to the podcast and things like that, I feel like we need to accelerate getting that stuff ready. So we redid the website, got it where we want it to be, I think, uploaded out to all the different podcast services. So anywhere that you listen to podcasts, the Appleboys Podcast should be available. So that includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're uploading our episodes onto YouTube as well, so you can listen to it on there. And then all the smaller podcast options are there as well. But really, Patreon is the preferred way for us, for you guys to follow us. So if you subscribe to us on Patreon, you're going to get first notification when new podcast episodes are uploaded. You're also going to have access to some behind-the-scenes footage and things like that. So episodes that have not been and will not be released to the public, outtakes and cuts that, you know, don't make it into the show, but that we still think are pretty funny and that we'd like for you to hear.
There are a lot of them.
There are a lot. We record a lot more than what makes it in the final show. We're also going to have some live Q&A sessions, maybe some AMAs, Ask Me Anythings. That should be a lot of fun. Patreon subscribers get custom Discord titles and access to private chat areas that regular Discord users don't have access to. And then also our VIP patrons and our founder patrons will have access to request topics and kind of dictate what we talk about. And we're really looking forward to getting some of that direction from you guys. So we'd love to know what you want to talk about, and we'd love to talk about it with you guys. Yeah, so definitely check us out at patreon.com/appleboys. You can also visit our website at www.appleboys.us. You can follow us on Twitter at appleboyspod, like our Facebook page at appleboyspod.
While we were talking, I actually got the ball rolling, and I have subscribed to our Patreon.
All right, we got our first subscriber. Jimmy has access to the unreleased episodes because that's the only way we're going to let him hear them. Nice. So it feels good to be official, to have the first official member. And when you sign up for Patreon, you will automatically get access to the appropriate channels within Discord and everything. That happens instantly. So yeah, we definitely appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys listening. Regardless whether you are subscribing on Patreon or just following us or just listening for the first time, we appreciate you guys being here. It's a lot of fun doing this, and we look forward to doing it for a long time to go. And all that being said, I think the only appropriate way to wrap this up is to say happy tonight.
Happy tonight.
Happy tonight.
Happy tonight.
Happy tonight.